Hey, everybody. Welcome back to
everyone.
another fantastic edition of the His and Her Money Show. We are super glad to have you back
Excited.
here with us. There's so many shows that you could be listening to right now or watching, but we are grateful and thankful that you are tuned into ours. And we are excited today.
Excited for today.
Listen, we on episode like 500
Oh my
and something. But this one is,
we've been waiting for this one.
We've been waiting on this one.
Yes.
One of our heroes in the faith is
Absolutely.
on the line with us. A fun fact, back in 2002, I personally came to faith off a book written by this hero of mine called Maximize the Moment.
Yeah.
And so it's an honor and a privilege that we get to speak with him today.
Yes.
Who are we talking about? If you don't know, we're talking about none other than Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he's waiting in the wings, and we're going to have a conversation because he has just dropped a brand new, fantastic book called Don't Drop the Mic.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that, man, because the subtitle is How the Power of Your Words Can Change the World. And so we need to know a little bit about this. So we're going to get Bishop on it to pick his brain a little bit. You guys ready? All right. Hey, Bishop Jakes, welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hello, Bishop.
Hello. It's good to be with you both.
We are excited to have you here.
Absolutely.
You are really a hero of ours. You don't know this, but you've been our mentor for a long time. So wow. I guess we'll let you in on that secret that you didn't know anything about. And so we consider it an honor to have you as a guest here on our show. Thank you so very much.
Yes.
So you have written a whole lot of books, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 books, but now you have dropped a brand new book called Don't Drop the Mic. Now, we're in the social media age where people are trying to have the best quotes and put hashtag mic drop at the end. But you, conversely, are telling us and warning us to not drop the mic. Talk to us about how you ended up with this topic for your brand new book, sir.
Well, I really did a playoff for Drop the Mic, those profound moments where you drop the mic, and it's in hip hop, it's in social media, it's everywhere. And this is not to negate the power of that usage. I use that term as well. But Don't Drop the Mic is a play on it to say that the mic has come to you, that your generation has the mic, that this is your moment, that this is your hour, and that it's important. The communication is important in all of its different inferences and diversity, to be able to speak, to articulate, to clearly, succinctly deal with different audiences and different crowds, right down to the audience of one, your spouse, your children. Communication is the catalyst through which all emotion is conveyed. Yeah. And so the more proficient we are at it, the more likely we are to get the job interview, to stabilize our children, to be able to maintain our relationships. All of that is a critical skill set that opens up doors, opens up companies, opens up crowds, broadens your mind and exposes you to the influence that is necessary to bring about a sociological change in the world. And it started with Dr. King for me. He changed the world with a mic, not a gun. Yeah. And so suddenly I began to realize that a microphone or any type of influence is in fact a very, very powerful tool.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so powerful about this particular book. You weren't just speaking to the church or to pastors or those that lead over congregations. It's all of us, everyone.
We all have a microphone.
We all have a microphone. I was so moved by one of your videos that you posted at your own church. Mm-hmm. And you talked about, you told the Lord that you are going to die empty.
You said at 19 years old.
That spoke loud to me. Talk about what that means. We all have a message. We all have some type of influence, whether it be, like you said, as a wife or a spouse or a mom. Talk about dying empty.
I promised him if he would teach me, I would teach other people. And everything he showed me, I would show somebody else, that I would be a conduit through which I would pass on everything that I learned throughout life. So for me, this book is more about legacy than just writing another book. It's about handing the tools to the next generation so that they don't have to forge through some of the things that I forged through to get to where I am. And I talked about things that people won't see watching my broadcast. I talked about the diversity that it took to speak at the White House versus speaking to the Senate versus speaking in a boardroom for negotiating a movie deal, to teaching leadership development training in Kenya, to speaking around the world from Hillsong to Lakewood to the National Church of God in Christ. The method through which we convey thought means that we have to study what we're going to say, but we also have to study who we're going to say it to, because the audience, studying the audience is just as important as studying the material.
Now, again, the title is Don't Drop the Mic. One of the things that stood out to us back a few years ago, we had the honor to be a guest on your television show, the T.D. Jakes Show. And one of the things we walked away with, and we never had this conversation with you, was a conversation we had amongst ourselves. It was like, this is what we said. We said, it's almost like he didn't know he was Bishop T.D. Jakes. I mean, you were just so cordial,
full of wisdom,
with guests, with staff. You were having fun with the audience, right? And you weren't at your church in your pulpit. You weren't, so everybody wasn't looking, but you were just a real person.
He was very intentional with his words.
We've been on several TV shows, and people are very pretentious. People have big egos, and you were just a real person with all the people. You didn't make it, like we said, we was like, it's almost like he don't know he Bishop T.D. Jakes. He acting like he one of us, you know what I mean? And so Don't Drop the Mic is what you do on stage, quote unquote, and off stage. How have you maintained that? You're Bishop T.D. Jakes. Let me be the first to tell you. How do you stay grounded, and how do we remain grounded?
I really am. You said it's almost as if he's one of you. I really am one of you. I never gave up my personhood for my profession. If you become a title, the title will devour who you are. And I think it's important that you don't allow what you do to destroy who you are, because people have a habit of putting you up on a pedestal and then shooting you down. And so don't take your own press too seriously. Don't get too overwhelmed over who they say you are, because to me, I'm not Bishop T.D. Jakes. To me, I'm little Tommy from West Virginia, whose daddy was a janitor and his mother was a school teacher, who lived in a 2-bedroom house with 3 kids and a mother and a father. That's at my core who I am. You know, I describe myself as being a person who likes to pick out his own chicken wings at the grocery store. You know, I like life. I like normalcy. I like humanity. I like people. I like personalities. I like engaging with people. The problem today is we like numbers, but we don't like people. So we brag about how many people are following us. We don't like them. We just want the numbers. How many people are in our church? We like the crowd. We don't like the numbers. I think in order to be ultimately successful, you have to have a deep love for people. And I have never lost that. I have been hurt and didn't lose that. I have been betrayed and didn't lose that. I have been attacked and didn't lose that, because that is the secret sauce to communication, that it comes from a pure place and a desire to leave the world better than how you found it. And I thought it was incumbent upon me, having ministered in Australia, having taught in South Africa, having sat down with some of the leading minds of the world in science and technology and engineering and every aspect of life, finances, to have had all of those friends, to be able to pick up the phone and call Tony Robbins and be able to laugh and hack it up with Doggy Boo, it just the wide range of P. Diddy one moment and Joel Osteen the next. That's a pretty wide breadth of experiences. And I bring all of that to the book to tell you, your life can be bigger than your perspectives, that Democrats should talk to Republicans, that Black people should talk to white people, that white people should talk to Black people. If we did that, we wouldn't have the chaos that we're seeing in our country right now. And don't drop the mic means don't give up on your daughter, on your spouse, on your mother, on your father. Don't drop the mic. When countries stop talking, they start bombing.
Mm.
When communities stop talking, they start shooting. When couples stop talking, they start divorcing. When kids stop talking, they start leaving. So the mic is the most powerful thing in the world to deter deterioration and separation.
So there's
Jesus.
27 different ways I want to go right now based off that last comment.
That's
So,
good.
but as you were talking, you went by it kind of quick, but you said that you've been hurt. People let you down,
Yeah.
but you didn't stop communicating. For some, that's easier said than done. You feel that hurt, you feel that disappointment, especially somebody that maybe you poured into, or somebody you were trying to help and they turned around and backstabbed. I'm sure being in ministry, being a public figure, you've experienced that over and over and over again. For some, they experience that and they're out. They quit. They say, you know what, forget it. I can just live my life. I was good already. I don't have to take the time. These people don't appreciate me. You didn't do that. But how did you not do that? How did you not do that?
That's a very good question. Great question. Kudos. If you stop being you because of them, they won.
Oh, man. See.
Yeah. Don't let anybody be the thief of your personality. And the way to keep them from winning is to resist the temptation to run and hide. To keep your heart open, to love again, to live again, to trust again is how you defeat the foe that hurts you. Because it only hurts if it distorts you. And I refuse to allow you to have that much power over me that you can do something to me and change me. I am who I am. And I'm very, very, very strong about my convictions about certain things. And I just don't think that you should let anybody have the power to change your personality because of their performance.
Yeah, so good. I want to read this excerpt from your book that was so profound to me. You said, it's no coincidence that the sacred gift of God's Son is expressed as word made flesh, John 1:14, because words of truth always have the power to save us and set us free. We make a sacred offering when we're willing to speak the truth. We receive a sacred gift when we're willing to listen. Sometimes the best way to beat an invisible enemy is with an invisible weapon.
Yes.
That was so profound. Talk about that, Bishop.
I wrote that book. First of all, I started writing the book to maintain a tradition of African-American preaching, mine in particular, and to describe and explain the process with which I extrapolate truth from a text. But in the middle of that, COVID came, and so we had an invisible enemy, and then the shootings came. And the invisible enemy of racism, it's not like there's a mark on your head that says, I hate Black people, or I hate Asian people, or I hate white people. It's an invisible enemy. And the way to overcome that ignorance of that enemy is through intelligence, informing, exposing. I often tell people exposure is the biggest word I know in all the dictionary. To be exposed is the greatest gift anybody can ever give you, is to bring you in the room. And to the audience that's listening, there will be opportunities to walk into rooms that you feel like you don't fit. Stay anyway. You won't know what to say, but stay anyway. Because if you stay in that room long enough, your capacity expands to the rooms you're in. I used to raise tropical fish, and certain types of fish, Oscars and other types of fish, grow to the side of their tank. And the reason some people are so limited is because their tank is so small. If they were exposed to a bigger tank, they would grow to a bigger capacity. We have this unique God-given ability to adapt to our environment. And so when your environment is bigger, your adaptability explodes into other idioms and dimensions of thought, and you start self-discovery on a whole nother level. I cannot tell you what a gift it was for me the first time my feet landed in Africa. And I started exploring Nigeria and Ghana and South Africa and Botswana and different places like that. Every place I went, I grew. They thought I was coming to help them. But what they didn't know is that all the while you're helping somebody, that same somebody is always helping you. Whether you're counseling a couple or whether you're visiting somebody in prison or going by the hospital, every time you go to help a person, it always makes you expand. And so I say, don't drop the mic when it's hard. Don't drop the mic when it hurts. Don't drop the mic when you cry. Don't drop the mic when you walk into a room and you feel so intimidated and unworthy and you only are understanding half of what is being said. Stay anyway. You'll never learn the language if you don't stay.
Wow.
We're trying to stay focused, but I mean, we're trying to, we're about to send an offering in
so
a second.
good.
My goodness.
We got a question. Prayer is a form of communication.
Right.
Why is it easier to pray for others, to use our words in communicating to God for others than it is for ourselves? So talk about the importance when you say, don't drop the mic, you're also talking about ourselves.
What we say to ourselves.
Exactly.
You know, let's start with what we say to ourselves, because that determines the degree to which we know ourselves. Most people don't really know themselves. That's why their marriages go bad, because they pick somebody for themselves, but they don't know themselves.
Jesus.
You see, so exploring yourself honestly, without judgment, a lot of times we explore who we would like to be or who we want people to think we are. No, let's get down to who we really are at our core. Even if it's not what we wanted it to be, it's our truth. And knowing your truth is the impetus from which everything else explodes. And the reason that we're better at praying for other people than we are at praying for ourselves is because sometimes we understand the other person better than we understand ourselves. And you have to, you know, God created Adam naked. And the Bible said all things are open before him with whom we have to do. So there's no need in coming to God telling him who I'd like to be when he knows who I am. He's not worried about my image, my persona, my public relations, or anything like that. He knows who I am at my core. And my core is not what I did, it's what I thought, my thought life. How healthy is my thought life? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So beginning to understand your own heart, what's in your heart, dealing with that, confronting that, naming it for what it is, becoming comfortable with oneself helps you to determine what matches me. What would match who I really am? Because you can fake in a date, but you can't fake in a marriage. And sooner or later, you're going to get tired of faking the funk. And you're going to say, look, this is driving me crazy. Or you're going to probably say, you are driving me crazy, because it's easier to blame the other person than it is to take responsibility for your own confusion. It's easier to say it's your fault than it is to admit, I'm not sure of myself. I'm vulnerable. I have issues with abandonment. And every time you walk out the door, it reminds me of who else left me. And I get afraid, and I don't trust you because I don't feel secure because I'm broken. Anybody can show you, like, it's like Instagram. We never post the bad picture. We go through 5 pictures to find the one that we think looks the best, and then we post that picture of ourselves, okay? But life is not like Instagram. You don't get to fix the picture, enhance the color, change the lighting, lower the size, build up the chest, whatever it is you're trying to do. No, you don't get to enhance. You are who you are, and you come to God naked
Yes.
Adam, where art thou? He's dressed up in fig leaves. No, no, I don't want that. Come the way I created you. I called you as you are.
Yes. Jesus.
Man, now you just hit an important topic for a lot of people listening. And for a lot of us, our platform is our home, our marriage, our children.
Should be our first ministry.
For everybody that's in that situation, that's your first platform.
Mm-hmm.
You have an incredible family, First Lady Sarita Jakes.
Yeah.
You have amazing
Children
kids that are in ministry and things. How have you applied these principles in the confines of your marriage? And what is your advice to those that are listening right now who are working or striving or struggling with the communication of words within the confines of their marriage?
I have built buildings, I have built communities, I have built neighborhoods for workforce housing, in low-income housing. I have done a lot of things in my life, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of property I've built. I've done films in Hollywood that gross $500 million in totality at the box office or somewhere around that amount. I didn't make that much, but the producers and the companies and everybody made a lot of money off of it. But the hardest job I ever had was to raise a child. That's a hard job. It's a very difficult job. And it's really, I say children are for young people, because when you get older, you just don't have anything left to give like that. Because your heart is in it, your soul is in it. Nobody can make you as angry as somebody you love. Nobody can make you as proud as somebody you love. And during the course of raising our children, we have had both extremes. I have had days that I thought, if I could just get my hands around your neck, I will tell God you died, and to have another one that looks just like you and keep on going. I just honestly, nobody gets there to that place in life without pain and problems and struggles and setbacks and disappointments. I have disappointed them. I have hurt them. They have hurt me. I think that family is the gymnasium that God gives love to work out in.
Okay, wow. I hope everybody just wrote that one down before he continues. Whoa.
That is true.
Yeah, family is the gymnasium that God gives love to work out in. And so your family is where you work out, resistance training. It's where you sweat. It's where you grunt. It's where you groan. It's where you cry. It's where you try. And then little by little, to see your kids do well is the most intoxicating feeling in the world. And it's a trophy you can't buy. You can't write a check and make them turn out right. Spending money on them doesn't make them turn out right. They're gonna have mishaps. And what is right? Right is whatever you were meant to be in the earth. I didn't teach my children that turning out right meant grabbing a mic and running to the stage and being me. That turning out right is not money. Turning out right is not fame. I just wanted you to be good people. I wanted you to be the kind of person that if I was bleeding on the side of the road, you wouldn't walk away. I wanted you to be the kind of person that I could trust you, that I could tell you something, that I could confide in you, that you, if you said you were coming at 8 o'clock, you would come at 8 o'clock. That's all I'm asking. You can work for the post office. You can sweep streets. Just be a good person. So from that perspective, we started building. What defines a good person? What makes a good son? What makes a good daughter? And then they found their own course in life. And I'm proud of all of them. I can hardly contain my grin when I talk about them, because as you get older, legacy is all that matters.
Yes.
You know, that's all that matters. If all the world thought I was amazing and my children didn't, that would be horrible.
Mm.
If everybody thought I was a great man and my wife didn't, that would be terrible. My wife says the best part of me people don't see. She says, it's not the preaching, it's not the stage, it's not the leadership, it's who you are in your heart. And for her to still think that after 39 years and all the hell I've taken her through, and to still come out thinking that, you know, that I'm worth having, and for me to think that she's worth having, is the elixir of life.
Imagine a life where your money isn't strangled by mortgage payments. Imagine what you could do when you don't have to send them money that you work so hard for. Come get simple, powerful, and real solutions to eliminating monthly mortgage payments forever. America's #1 money couple presents Crush My Mortgage. In this exclusive course, you will be equipped with strategies to help you move faster toward the promised land of owning your house free and clear. Learn strategies to help you in the areas of payment acceleration, extra income generation, and wealth creation, all to help you crush your mortgage. Visit crushmymortgage.com and get started today. Join us on the path to power, freedom, and legacy. That's crushmymortgage.com.
Bishop, talk about the cancel culture. So you have people that are not dropping the mic, right? They're using their words for good. But we live now in a society that even though you may not necessarily be saying something wrong, if they don't agree with what you're saying, they'll cancel you, they'll muzzle you. So talk about the fear that people have, like they want to grab the mic, they don't want to put it down, but they're afraid of the outside noise. They're afraid of the communities, society, social media. They're afraid of them muzzling them. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, if you have a mic with that level of influence, you have to develop thick skin. You have to develop the kind of skin. I'm unfollowing you. I've had people say that to me. I'm unfollowing you. Okay. Okay.
Rematch. Be like, okay.
Yeah, we do that. All right.
I'll be okay. I didn't know you were.
Your family loves you, so yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. I didn't know you were. So if you want to unfollow me, that's not pain.
Yeah.
I've had pain. If you've ever had real pain, then this cyber pain is not real pain. Real pain is your mother dying in your arms. Real pain is having a kid come in and tell you that she's pregnant. Real pain is losing your dad, and real pain. We have gotten so soft that we get hurt about stuff that really doesn't pay any bills. It doesn't have anything to do with me. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. What fell off of me when you unfollowed me? So you must be, you must be courageous. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you must be fair. You must be fair. You can't tell a story against racism and your statement is racist too. You can't say white people think this away. That's just racism in reverse. Not all white people think anyway. Not all black people think anyway. You have to be careful how you phrase what you're saying so that you're balanced in your wisdom. And yes, it's a cancel culture, but I think cancel sometimes is a correction culture to get better at your language. I have said, I made a statement about some work I did in Kenya, and I got 3 days of the worst tirade of hate mail in every language from every tribe in Kenya for 3 solid days. I jumped on the social media and said this: I am so sorry that I offended you. It was not my intent to offend you. I did not know in your culture that to use that term was offensive. I am educated by what you said. I will not say that again. That was not the message I was trying to convey. And if I hurt you in any way, I absolutely apologize. You can never get too big to say, I blew it. I was wrong. And we laugh about it today. I was just over there not too long ago, and I was teaching a class of leadership development for some CEOs for a bank. And I used it in my story, and we were all laughing about it because they can be quite colorful with their language. And I thought I knew all curse words. They taught me some new ones, but but it was good. I grew, and ultimately, what we have to do is be prepared to give people second chances who didn't get it right on the first time around, and maybe not on the second time around, because there's 8 billion people on the planet. Somebody is going to be offended if you breathe. You know, yeah, there's 8 billion people. You can't please everybody. You can't be called to please everybody. And you have to take a stand somewhere, and it's going to offend somebody who has an opposing opinion. Sometimes I don't answer them. Sometimes I block them. Sometimes I erase them. And sometimes I respond to them because I think it's a teaching moment, and it's an opportunity to broaden your perspective, because I disagree, and you had enough nerve to say what you said, and I have enough nerve to talk back because I'm grown. Not because I'm the bishop, because I'm grown. I'm a grown man. I'm a real grown man. So, you know, so you just cannot roll up on me and say anything and think I won't say anything back. And sometimes that discussion germinates a relationship, and sometimes we just agree to disagree. But whatever you do, you have to realize you're on my page, so I'm not leaving. So if it comes down to who's got to leave, it's got to be you, because I'm not coming on your page attacking you. I've never done that in my life. And so you chose to come over and attack me. If it comes down to who leaves, it's got to be you. Have a nice life. God bless you. I enjoyed the time we had together. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another.
Oh, man. Oh,
it's
that's
like
amazing.
I want to drop the mic on these statements, but you can't drop the mic.
There's gonna be so many tweets coming out of this episode.
Oh my gosh.
So Bishop, your book is called "Don't Drop the Mic," but some people have.
Yeah, I know.
Life has hit them. Some people, the mic got knocked out of their hand. Some people laid it down voluntarily. Maybe they felt like circumstances of life, they're not able to do what they know God told them to do. But, you know, I got to be a provider for my family, or I got to be a mother of my children. I don't have time or the resources to do X, Y, and Z. Some people, the mic got knocked out of their hand, and they feel unqualified because they messed up in the past, and their mic is on the ground. So why should they pick it back up, and how do they find the courage to do so?
If that happens and you can't use the platform that you had, use the platform you have left. If you're in prison, teach Bible class, self-development, GED prep, do something productive on whatever level you're on. Maybe you weren't meant to be that high. Maybe it was seasonal. Maybe you're scaffolding and you're not the building, and scaffolding is removed. And so you're removed from that spot. That's not the end of your life. Some people live their whole lives and never went up there. And so we must remember that our life is not our job. And so if that gets knocked out of your hand, and you made a mistake, a moral failure, an indiscretion, and people found out and they all walked away and left you. Jesus went through that. He didn't make a moral failure, but people left him. He said, "Unless you drink my blood and eat my flesh, you'll have no part with me." And they all turned around, walked away. And he asked Peter, "Wilt thou leave me also?" You know, the whatever you have left, that's who loves you. When everybody walks away, whoever's left standing, that's who loves you. Until you love me flawed, you don't really love me, because I'm flawed. You love the idea of me. You love who you would like me to be, and I would love to be who you would like for me to be, but unfortunately, I'm just me. And getting that second start again, sometimes God tests us to see if you'll be faithful down low, and then he may bring you up high.
I got so many questions. I mean, it's not often you get to talk to the one and only Bishop T.D. Jakes, man. But I do want to ask one more question. I know you have to go, and your time is very valuable. Another observation that my wife and I have, that there's a verse in the Bible that teaches us believers that are believers that we are to be cunning like a serpent, but gentle as a dove.
Mm-hmm.
We have watched you in various rooms.
Yes.
We've seen you at the pulpit at the Potter's house.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen you on CNN. We've seen you on Fox News. We've seen you at the White House. Well, I saw a video you did with Jeezy the other day. I mean, bishops everywhere, right? But wherever you are, you're Bishop T.D. Jakes. You're T.D. Jakes. Mm-hmm. Some people have crossed those lines in an attempt to be light in darkness, in an attempt to be salt in the earth, and they ended up consumed on that other side. You never have. You've been you in all these places, and you've been uncompromisingly you. How do you do that?
I think that in the book, I talk about bandwidth, and you have a certain bandwidth of diversity with which you can communicate with people. And you don't want to go beyond your bandwidth. Certain things are beyond your scope and range and experience. And I have muffed it sometimes. I think about my early years. My preaching brought me to stages that my maturity wasn't ready for. And I didn't even understand what was expected of me on a platform. I talked about speaking for the Congressional Black Caucus early in my ministry, and I have such a better grasp of what that audience we should be talking about than I did at the time. You grow, and as you grow, you evolve, and all you have to bring is who you are. But you can present yourself in such a way that you know who you're talking to when you're talking to Fox audience. You understand the demographic, and you try to put your truth into a language that is palatable. Because if all I do is make you mad, I didn't make anything better. I want to be able to make it better, not just make you mad. So how can I be true to my convictions and convey it in a way that you get it? So maybe I will say to you, the statues that don't offend you, but do offend some of us, imagine if we erected statues to the people who drove the planes into the World Trade Center. Using metaphors that help people to equate your pain with their pain, because unfortunately, we are all victims of this one thing. We get the news that we want to hear because you can flip to a channel that's talking the way you're accustomed. So you never get to hear the other side of the story. Your phone will bring you the news that you want to hear, because the moment you start Googling, your phone starts dropping cookies and sending you similar information for you to like it. The problem with that is you're getting one side of the elephant. You never get to hear or understand the other side of the elephant. And I understand that all the while that they are fighting on television and getting paid to fight, they go away from television and have dinner. We get mad and go shoot somebody. So there are people who are getting rich off of our pain. And we have to have a good understanding of media and how media works. What really drives media is not necessarily truth. It's not necessarily the biggest story. It's the story that gets the most eyeballs. It is a ratings-based, profit-based institution. It is not a not-for-profit entity. So the fights that are engendered by the media are often driven by the ratings. Bigger stories And the important stories sometimes don't get told because the public is interested in this, and this is where the ratings are. Long term, if we don't change that a little, if we don't adjust that and do a tune-up on how we present things, we're driving ourselves into tribalism, and all the tribes are going to go to war.
Bam. All right, Bishop, the book is out now.
Everywhere.
Everybody listening and watching needs this book.
Yes.
So tell them a little bit more about what they'll find in the book and where they can pick up a copy.
They'll find a lot of what we're talking about in the book. They'll find a conversation in the book. They'll find a different perspective in the book. They'll find a global perspective in the book that will challenge you to prepare yourself for what's next. What's next in your life, for the room you're about to walk in. I'm trying to get you ready for the room you're about to walk in. They'll find a father telling his son, get ready. The mic is in your hand. Get ready to talk to people of different ilks and ideas and philosophical ideologies, because you're just that good. You're gonna go places for which you have no preparation for, and that does not match your background, but your gift is going to bring you before great men and women. Have something in your closet for them. Have something in your head for them. Have something in your heart for them. You are going places you have never been. This is because Congressman John Lewis is dead. This is because Aretha Franklin is dead. This is because some of the greatest preachers in our country are dying. It's gotta be your turn. It can't be our turn. We're leaving. We're on our way out. You're in, and you can't have little boy problems and be somebody's daddy. You have to grow up into this and take this mic for which our ancestors fought and died, and hold it in your hand and go forward. And anger doesn't bring peace. When the Bible said, be ye angry and sin not, it's natural to be angry. But going out there and just making everybody mad doesn't make everything better. Sitting down at the table and explaining yourself and re-explaining yourself and working yourself forward is incremental change. I know it's slow. I know we're impatient. I know we're sick of it, but it is like that. It's like that for women. It's like that for people of color in this country. If we went to a country where we were all the same color, we would fight about tribes or about height or about language. It's humanity. And it's global. And as soon as you figure out it's global, because I saw everything as an American, and when I started traveling around the world, I found out there are people in the Middle East who are discriminated against for different reasons. There are people in Germany that are discriminated against for different reasons. Everything is not black and white. Over here, it is about black and white. But there are other races. In South Africa, it's black, white, and coloreds. Okay, and there's all these socioeconomic breakdowns to how people perceive you. It is the human nature. Cain killed Abel, and they were brothers. And that's how the story begins. The story begins with a dysfunctional family who has murder in it, not sex, murder in the first family. And from there, we have the growth of humanity. So if you buy into the notion of Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve, the Bible is flamboyantly obvious that there's going to be altercations. And the symbol of faith to those that are listening at us who have faith is Jesus, who was born in a repressed society dominated by the Roman Empire in their own country, rose up only to be crucified before a criminal justice system that was so unjust that they crucified an innocent man, and he died innocently for a crime he never committed. And the symbol of our faith is the cross. And he says, take up your cross and follow me. So how in the world would you expect everything now to be calm and rosy and peaceful? One of the things that I love about our faith is that it is open about suffering and injustice and how God is on the side of the oppressed.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Books sold everywhere.
there you have it.
I mean, I was almost getting emotional here. Like, I feel every word that is being spoken. I feel like this is a word for
This is legacy.
exactly everybody, every single person.
Yeah. So we hope that you guys heard what you needed to hear. We hope that you guys go and get this book because you need it, because it's a much deeper dive. And we all have a platform. We all have a sphere of influence. And it's imperative for each and every one of us not to drop this mic, but to hold it firm and to use it and steward it well.
The links will be in the show notes as well as in the description box.
Thank you so much, Bishop,
you,
for
Bishop.
coming on and sharing all of this amazing wisdom with our audience today.
Thank you.
It was a great interview. Thanks for having me.